Díobh go léir, fáilte isteach chuig an agaibh. Is me se Emma, agus táman seo le Luke. So hello everyone, welcome into this month's interview. We are here with Luke. Luke joins me. He is a Grow member for a little while now. So we're going to learn a little bit about Luke. Luke is going to tell me a little bit about himself. I've had a lot of contact with Luke over the past couple of months, but I really now am using this to get to know you, Luke. So Luke, conas atá tú?
Tá mé go bra Emma conas agus túsa.
Tá mé go húntaach ar míle maith agat. So Luke, I suppose we'll start off nice and easy. We'll get an intro from yourself as Gaeilge. So inis doing beganin food féin.
Is mí se Luke agus tá mé imime choní drit aga agus dí be mí an blá clia le seach mlína agus bula le má van má chrí. So my name is Luke. I'm from Drogheda, County Louth, represent, and I work in Dublin the past 7 years, where I met my missus, my partner, my heart.
Lovely. Goháling, mahu, gohúntaach. So, Luke, as I said, well, for everyone watching, we do these interviews to get to know our Grow members, and for everyone else to get to know our Grow members. And I know Luke from him being super duper active. Every day I see you on there, Luke, on Pobble, interacting with all of the posts in Bite Size Bio and in the Gleachan och Hugger Mugger that I do. And also, I've noticed, Luke, that you have you've been putting up a lot of posts yourself to other members without prompts from me or any of the team. So that's why you caught my eye as well. So I'm delighted that you're joining me here. So I suppose what we'll start with then after the introduction, I want to know a little bit about your first experiences with Irish. So you're from Drogheda, but I'm presuming you had Irish in school. So can you tell me where it all started and if it was a good or a bad experience maybe at the start?
Well, I suppose as you said, Emma, I'm from Drogheda, from County Louth, and within the Republic of Ireland. And yes, Irish is compulsory for everyone in the education school system. So bright and early, as soon as I went to the primary education, I was thrown into Irish. I took it quite well, and there is literally a sentence that is ingrained into my soul, and we'll call it an Dulgi Electris, Moshe Holly. And yeah, that's born in me. So may I go to the toilet, please, basically. And you know, going through my education system and my educational journey through primary, it was I suppose it was enjoyable. It was quite nice, but then when I went into secondary school, I kind of lost interest. I don't particularly know what. I think the main reason was I was living in an English-speaking household, which a lot of Irish people do have that problem, I suppose, unless you're from the Gaeltacht. And I couldn't relate it, any of the Irish that I was learning at the time, to my everyday life. So I kind of just became detached and disconnected from the language. And I suppose as a result of that, I lost a lot of what I had, but it does come back in dribs and drabs. So yeah, I suppose that's my journey through the education system.
Yeah, I don't think it's an unusual journey either. Even myself, coming from an Irish-speaking primary school, where I went every day into school and spoke Irish, but I spoke English at home. In the secondary education then that I did was through English, and again, like yourself, actually, I kind of lost a little bit of my connection with it, because the Irish that I was learning was a little bit more basic than what I had from my primary education. So yeah, I think a lot of people would relate to what happened to you there. But it's nice to know that you did take to it. You didn't have any dislike to it. So I suppose it stood to you in the end, because you somehow ended up back learning it. So that leads me to the next question, which is, where did you come back to it? What made you come back? What made you relearn, or I suppose turn back to, I don't know, the journey of the Irish language?
Right, well, I suppose that's a bit of a long-winded story. Back in the time when we actually could go on holidays before COVID came, I was on holidays in the where was I? I was in one of the Spanish Isles. I can't remember if it was in Canary Islands or it was on one of them beside Ibiza. And in the hotel that me and my missus was staying in, we met a Polish couple with their family, and they were quite pleasant and everything else. But he made a kind of a comment that, you know, Irish and English people are the same. And yeah, I kind of got quite offended by the comment, if catch my drift. And I kind of made the opinion that, do you believe that you're the same as a German person or a Russian person? And he got quite offended at that as well. Well, that's kind of the sort of comparison you're making towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Irish people are completely different from English people. There's no disrespect to anyone from England or the UK in general. It's just that we have our own language, we have different cultures, we have our own music, we have our own style of, you know, talking. Even
Mm-hmm.
our Hibernian English is quite
Mm-hmm.
different. So we're kind of like a different, you know, race altogether. You know, we're similar. We are part of the same family tree in terms of, like, you know, our origins. They were Celts. We are Celts, you know, same as Scottish and Welsh people, but we're different. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there is that kind of, you know, the stigma around the Irish people and English people, that they're very much the same people. No, no, we're not. And also, my colleague made the kind of same comment towards me, and I said, no, we're different. We have our own language and everything. Well, do you use it? And I was like, as much as I'm reluctant to accept that perspective, you might be correct there, because it had been about 6 or 7 years since I actually used the Irish that I had. Although I did point out that I had an Irish keyboard on my phone.
Oh, there you
You
go.
know, so from that, I kind of was very stung by them comments. You know, I don't think they meant it to be a quite personal comment. I don't think they meant any harm by it,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of hurt my pride in a sense. It was quite personal. It kind of stung me quite personally. So I considered that, and I started going back over, you know, all the old Irish, you know, your Irish songs that you would learn, Irish Shade of Valja, Cosset and Sug, and Van Fadden.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to enjoy it. And then, as you can probably see in the room behind me, there is lovely pink wallpaper, and there's probably, you can see the top of the cot behind me. I'm expecting a baby within 2 or 3 weeks, a little girl. So that kind of spurred me on to learn Irish again, because I was reminiscent of the time when I was growing up in Drogheda, going through my primary school education onto secondary school. Is that, you know, I missed out big time, I think, and there was a lot of regret around the fact that I just disconnected from Irish and
Mm-hmm.
my own language, and there's no, I suppose, look, my parents, no interest in Irish. The same story as well. Same with my grandparents. It just wasn't there. The Irish language just wasn't there. It wasn't fun to learn. It wasn't relevant to their lives. Nobody used it where they were from. And so I said to myself, well, you know what? Instead of, you know, repeating history, I think I should pick it back up, and I think I should connect to my roots. And so I decided, well, why not take the plunge? And I started again. And I've enjoyed the process ever since.
Excellent. You've decided to break the cycle and start, you know, start and give your future daughter the chance, at least, to take interest in the language, you know, and use the language. I think that's one of the best, I suppose, excuses to restart the language, or the best reasons to restart learning a language in general. Um, Excellent, brilliant. I'm delighted. Are you? I won't ask you the name, but have you an Irish name picked?
Too.
Oh,
Middle and
lovely.
first name and middle name is going to be an Irish name, but looker, and nobody knows. So
You never know. Yeah, no, you'll never. Yeah, plus you might look at her then when she comes out, and you might pick a different Irish name. But I'm glad you have
that's
at
it.
least two. You can swap them around. Maybe you can put the middle name as the first name.
Yeah, there was a bit
Brilliant.
of negotiation with the partner for an Irish name, because she had some interesting names, and I said, no.
No, it's going to be Gaeilge.
That's
I'm a supporter of
Gaeilge.
that. Of
Yeah,
that.
that's Gaeilge. All the way.
No questions.
Yeah, and then she loved him. Oh,
Good, good. Well, I'm excited to find out the name. We won't ruin the surprise yet, so I'm looking forward to that. You'll have to let me know. So yeah, I really like that story, Luke, and I don't think you're the only one that has been, you know, compared to English people. You know, it happens it happens us all the time. And it's like, as you said, it's no disrespect, but of course, like, we are our own group of people over on our little island, and one of the biggest parts about it is the language, and the fact that, you know, people will question you. I get questioned even here in Germany, why are you teaching Irish? Well, it's a language like any other language. Why shouldn't I teach Irish? Why shouldn't I speak Irish? So you know, I think I commend you for your interest in doing it, you know, and kind of taking the plunge, as you said, because it's not easy to kind of start back from scratch. So how have you been finding it? You said that it comes back in dribs and drabs. Like, kind of what have you found, I suppose, the most enjoyable about it? You said the music. That's a great way to start back in any language, is learning songs, even if you don't know what the songs mean. It's so good for your pronunciation, and you'll pick out vocabulary here and there. But what have you enjoyed the most overall?
The rhythm. It's the actual melody of the language. Like, I think everyone can agree that every language has its own rhythm. There is its own song that it sings to. There is a melody there. And to be honest, actually just listening to someone speaking Oscueliga very fluently, like yourself, Owen or Neil or Ben, it's quite a pleasant thing to hear. So when I'm listening to songs, I'm really connecting with just the song, the melody that's being kind of sang. It's the language is speaking to you more than just the lyrics, even if you don't understand them. There is a beat, and there is a kind of like a synchronizing of words that is just very pleasing, just to even your soul. So that is very, very enjoyable for me. Even just learning how Shevus and Urus work again, and the way sentences are structured again. It's very, very enjoyable. And the fact that, like, you know, it's a VSO language, it's not English. It can sometimes be very confusing, but it makes sense. If you don't think too much about it, like trying to translate things to English versus Irish, it does make sense if you just step back and look at it. So actually just trying to let the language speak to you is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the process.
Wow, you took the words right out of my mouth. I tell this all the time to people, to stop trying to translate things word for word, and actually, as you said, just take a step back and accept the language for what it is. And that goes for any language. You can kind of destroy it almost when you're trying to break it down too much and really try and understand, well, if it's this in English, why is it that in Irish? Especially with the prepositions. That's the biggest one. You know, if you use certain prepositions in Irish, which in certain phrases, which mean, and when you put it into English, it makes even less sense. So sometimes just accepting the language for what it is I think it's a very good piece of advice. Gohuntach. And even now, I suppose, on the topic of advice, another question that I'd kind of follow up with then would be, there's plenty of people that will be watching this who are going to be in the same situation as you, or were in the same situation as you, had it in school, didn't particularly dislike it, didn't, connect with it, or, kind of lost touch, or just forgot about it after school because they had no use for it in their life. And they're thinking about starting back, but I suppose it's a big thing to do, especially the first jump into it is always, I think, the most daunting in anything. What would you say to the person who would be watching this and wants to start back learning Irish but doesn't know how to, or is afraid to, or for whatever reason?
Well, I'll put an analogy on it, I suppose. When I was in college, when I was doing my degree, whenever I'd start on a new module, and it didn't really matter what it was, I may not, like, I wasn't an expert on what I was learning, but how do you learn? You immerse yourself. You literally you take the deep plunge and read as much as you can, learn as much as you can within the time frame, or the time that's allowed. The time that's afforded to you, and just give it your all. And that will make the process a lot more simpler, because when we are growing up as children, we don't understand what's saying to us. I suppose, like, we're mimicking what's being said to us, whatever language we're doing. We pick up things because we're always listening. So, you know, developing your listening skills and your comprehension is the most important thing when you're learning anything, no matter it's a language, it's a subject, it doesn't matter. You're going to start as a beginner anyway. No matter what stage you're at, you're always going to begin something. You're always going to be starting something new. And to actually become an expert or a practitioner, you need to do it. You need to take the deep plunge and just give it your all. And it doesn't matter if you are frustrated or if you feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're getting somewhere. You may not realize it, but 6 months ago, I could barely pronounce a one.
Now look at you.
Look at me, you know, and I was actually driving up the M1 there a couple of months ago, which is from Dublin to Drogheda. And on every motorway, there is a sign that says Garda One. And I've been pronouncing it for years as Garda and Hain. Yeah, because I was thinking with my English brain instead of my Irish brain. Now, Garda One, everyone is Garda only, just to let you know. But you develop your skills. It doesn't matter. Just take it as it is, day by day, practice by practice. I get frustrated sometimes. I just take a breather and come back to it. And you have to take your first. You have to take your first step. That's how you begin something. Take a step. Then you keep on going. Be persistent. You'll get there.
Excellent. I love that advice. Really good advice, Luke, because, you know, everyone has to start somewhere. And it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go, you are making progress. And as you said, like, you might feel like you're not, but you are. You were better than you were yesterday. You might know one extra word. So, you know, one extra word a week is 52 new words in a year. And if that's the pace that people want to take, there's no problem with it. So, Gahuntach, I love that. Well done. I love all of your advice. It's really, really good advice, and I think the viewers that'll watch this now will really enjoy it. My last question would be more so back to you now, rather than giving advice. I want to know what your goal is. Maybe it's a short-term, a long-term goal. I know you have your daughter on the way. That would be maybe a long-term goal before she starts talking, then she'll never stop. So I suppose you could have a couple of goals, Luke. Tell me where you want to be.
The lovely goal post. Right, well, I suppose, look, at the first thing I have, I suppose, look, the first goal I have, because I'm a bit of a geek, I want to be able to read on Hobbit. Ooh. That's my short-term goal, is to read on Hobbit, which is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, and sure, look, you can tell by the glasses, I'm a big geek.
Hey, nothing wrong with glasses now. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, true. But that's my short-term goal. But to get there, I do need to keep on practicing, because there is loads of vocabulary that I just don't understand. And again, as well, J.R.R. Tolkien didn't speak in the modern English sense. He was kind of like an old school English sense of a writer. So that'd be quite a challenge, I think. But I do want to do it. No matter really how long it takes me. I'm not in a rush, you know. I'm 26, plenty of years to go.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time, you know. Hopefully, I'll be here when I'm 110. I doubt it, but
God, and you'll have it
God,
finished.
you know. And I suppose, look, the long-term goal is it's kind of replace English as like my first language. It's a long stretch. I'm not a native Irish speaker. I'm not kidding myself. I didn't go to Gael school. That's why I'm jealous of you and Owen and everyone else who went to Gael school or was in an Irish-speaking household. So Tommy Aid I would like to actually kind of conjure up thoughts and think of things in Irish instead of English. It's a very abstract kind of concept when you're trying to change or thinking of changing your primary language. Well, that is probably where I'd like to be now. Whether it happens, who knows? But I'll try.
Well, you seem determined, Luke, and that's the first step, I think. You know, that's all you need, and you can get anywhere with determination, and if you're willing to do it and the mindset to do it, and you're oozing determination. So there's no fear of you. I think you'll be well able. And you know, it nicely ties in with the motto of Gaeilge Gach Lá, which you are doing well from Monday to Friday, at least on Pobble with us and with me. You're on there. You're brilliant. Yeah. I think everyone there loves you as well. You're so good and you're so engaging, and you always make an effort to write in Irish, because not everyone does. There's a mixture between English and Irish there. And even though if you're not sure of something, you'll put it in Irish, and you know, you're so determined, and yeah, what you have to lose, like, that's what we're here for, and that's what you're there to do. You're there to learn and immerse yourself. So you've taken it on really well.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, look, Emma, you know, I have this mindset where I don't like to regret anything. I just never did. No. So whether I don't like to see myself as a failure, I just don't like thinking of myself. I'm very hard on myself. I know I am. I'm very, I have a high standard, I suppose, for myself that I like to try and maintain. And whenever I start something, I finish it. I make myself finish it. And so actually dropping Irish was probably the biggest regret I had in my short span on this earth. And I said to myself, I know it just doesn't sit well with me. I have to go back. I just can't let it lie. I have to learn it. I have to practice it. And then as well, like Pobble, I have to say Pobble is probably one of the best forums for Irish practitioners or Gaeilgeoirí trying to learn Irish, or anyone who's trying to pick up the language, because the way that Pobble is run is, I make the comparison that it's Facebook for Irish people, or Facebook for Irish speakers, because it's very informal. It's a great platform for communicating with different people, you know, and I had to be conversing with people from America, you know, and England, and you know, all over the world. And I'm actually quite, you know, quite surprised by the amount of people that actually want to learn Irish. But it's an excellent community. Like, I mean, Pobble is the appropriate word for it, because it is a community, isn't it?
As you said, it's so informal. I log on every day, and I know it's my job, but I don't feel like I'm logging into work. You know, that's why I was telling you before we started recording, I find myself working at 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's me on Pobble chatting with people, collecting homework, and then I think, wait, I'm on the clock here. I need to log off and, you know, get back to it in the morning. So, you know, I love Pobble, and I really love chatting, and I love logging on. My favorite thing is when I log on and I see loads of different posts that don't have my face, so my profile picture. So I know that there's conversations going on in many different threads, and whatever's going on, and things from last week, people are catching up. I love it. I love how busy it is. But without the likes of you, Luke, it wouldn't be a Pobble. So I'm delighted that you've really embraced it, and you're a credit to yourself, and I really applaud you for everything you've done so far, because you're not with Bite Size that long, are you? How long have you been with us now?
Maybe February, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
Not really long. Like,
not even half a year, and look at you, like, you've made such progress. So you should be proud of yourself, and I expect great things from you. You'll be doing YouTube videos in a couple of years now, reading The Hobbit for people in Irish. I guarantee you.
Oh, I tell you, me and Chris will have to do it. That's like a back-to-back reading of it. That'll be a great crack, you know. Like I always say, like when I go into Pobble, like the crack is 90, and you know, for anyone that doesn't understand Irish slang, it's great fun.
Yeah. I think that's a good note to end on now, that the crack is 90 on Pobble, and you know, everyone get over there and join us. But Luke, it was cahúntaach kind of ag caintleat in Jovgur míle mahagut. So thank you so much. And yeah, I welcome any questions for Luke below this video. We'll have a blog post with his answers as well, and what we chatted about. But yeah, Sinead, gur míle mahagut. Agus be mé caintleat. Slán go fóill.
Slán.